Uh-oh, are you a lazy believer?
Today I don't feel like doing anything.
This ought not to be. Christians ought to be the workers with the most integrity, and we should be the hardest workers on the planet. Laziness is not a Christian option.
I just stare at my desk, but it looks like I'm working.
Why should a Christian be the hardest working person? Answer: because God is the hardest working being in the universe, and you're an image bearer of God, and that means you need to be mirroring Him. You need to be working like Him. Perhaps Richard Baxter can help. What's a Richard Baxter? He's a dead guy, a Puritan who wrote a lot, and he helps us to identify time wasters.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff.
Do we dare?
We dare.
This might help you to determine, yikes, am I actually being a little bit of a sluggard? See if you find yourself in any of these time wasters. Here we go from Richard Baxter. Idleness or sloth. In other words, you spend a lot of downtime. Maybe you call it me time. A Christian, of course, we can have discretionary time where we recharge our batteries, because that is a reminder we're not God. But having said that, you are of the sort that rests a lot. How do you know if it's too much? Oh, the joy of family. Oh, the joy of the local church. Perhaps your spouse has been wondering, why aren't you getting that done? When are you going to get that done?
Well, I'm gonna go do the dishes.
Cool.
It'd be nice if you helped me.
In the church, it might come from the pulpit. Hey, everybody, we've got all kinds of chores around this church that need doing. Could anybody help? That might be a sign that you are practicing too much idle time. Number 2, excess of sleep. Your snooze button, it's done worn out. Yes, Christians can take a nap, but it should only be because we're exhausted from working so hard to do our chores, fulfill our responsibilities, and grow the kingdom. Sleep is a reminder we're not God. We need it, but maybe you don't need that much. Number 3, an inordinate adoring of the body. Taking care of this temple, it can take a little time, it can take a lot of time. How much time should you be taking? That is not up for me to say, but it should be on your radar. If this is always presented fabulously, then maybe, just maybe, you're spending too much time on how you look and not in service to the King.
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really, really ridiculously good looking?
Another time waster, unnecessary pomp and extravagance in household furniture and domestic entertainments. You're spending a lot of time decorating. Can you decorate your house? Yeah, you can decorate your house. That's not the point. The point is you're consumed with it. Or you're spending a lot of time in your house, courtesy of Netflix, this stuff, time. Yeah, you can use some time to do those things, but you might be using too much time. Back to our list we go. Needless feasting, gluttony, and drinking. Operative word is needless. And if you're thinking, how much time makes it needless? It's up to you. Take a look at how much food prep time you utilize a day. Gotta make food. We gotta go to the grocery store, but is it a protracted experience? And do you sit around and linger at the dinner table like you're Italian? And it's okay for me to judge because I am Italian. Number 6, pick a little, talk a little.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little.
I don't want to suggest that in the South we do this a lot, but in the South we do this a lot. Do you? Number 7, vain and sinful company. This is a time waster because you're spending a lot of idle talk talking about very empty things. When you're with bad company, it fritters away the day. Why? Because they don't desire to be industrious, as a Christian should be. Number 8, needless, inordinate sports and games, which are masked with the deceitful title of recreation, extracurricular activities, sporting events, all could be signs. How many games can you play? How many activities can you be involved in? Here's the definitive answer. It's up to you. I don't write the rules. You decide this between you and God. Number 9, excess of worldly cares and business. Do you catch the words here? Excess, unnecessary, frivolous. We are on the planet. We work. We have issues that need to be dealt with. What Richard Baxter is warning us about is there's a greater work that must be done. This is kingdom work. This is family cultivation. This is serving in your local church. Yeah, working hard at the plant, but working hard after you've punched out. Number 10, vain, ungoverned, and sinful thoughts. You just spend a lot of time daydreaming or, fantasizing? Nope. Richard Baxter wouldn't have included this particular issue in his list because, well, he's been dead before the internet was invented. But pornography is a massive time waster. So not only are you looking at forbidden items, not only are you sinning by committing adultery in your heart, not only are you helping women and children be abused, but you're also sinning by wasting time. Number 11, the reading of worthless books, plays, romances, and novels, and also unprofitable studies undertaken but for pride and vain glory or the pleasing of a carnal and curious mind. The operative words, worthless, unprofitable. Yeah, you can read a book. Yeah, you can get another degree. But the question is, why? Why are you doing what you're doing? That is our big question. Why should you and I even care about a subject like this that chances are pretty good you're going, dude, you're kind of picking some nits? The answer to that question is found in time waster number 12. An unsanctified, ungodly heart is a time waster. Whatever men are doing because they never intend to do anything for the glory of God. Whoomp, there it is, our motivation why you and I should be stellar workers. Our job description is not widget maker. It's not stay-at-home mom. It is God glorifier. We have been put here to reflect His glory, most particularly by focusing on His hard-working Son. Have you pondered how hard Jesus worked? He was a laborer, construction. Perhaps he was making bricks. He lifted heavy stuff, a lot. No Advil, daily hard work. The King left his throne to come to this earth, take on human form, to be a laborer. But his work certainly didn't stop when he began his ministry. Jesus was the hardest working preacher ever. He was healing people from sun up to sundown, feeding people, doing miracles, constantly engaging with human beings to teach them that he must suffer and die and rise from the grave. Furthermore, Jesus labored underneath the weight of the cross. Jesus labored for oxygen as he hung in the air. Jesus Christ labored until his last breath that your salvation could be secured so that God can be glorified. Ponder that. Consider the hard work of your Lord and your Master, and that will be the very thing that causes you to get out of bed in the morning and go, this is the day the Lord has made. I am going to get on it and glorify Him to the max. Please meet Dr. Eric Weathers.
When you support the efforts of the Masters Academy International, we train pastors all over the world to mine the text and to understand what the author intended for his audience, which is precisely the same thing he intends for our audience today.
Please consider supporting the Masters Academy International as they train Indigenous men to rightly divide the word. Wretched.org/pastor.